Heartache in the heartland. A tornado leaves a path of death and destruction.
Plus a flood of emotion over the sentence given to Jennifer Porter. Her lawyer will be joining us live to talk about the case. Welcome back to Good Day Tampa Bay. The sentence given to Jennifer Porter has drawn criticism and outrage. As Fox 13's Roxanne Avenino reports, some people might organize a protest.
Jennifer Porter faced 3 years in jail and 10 years of probation for leaving the scene of an accident that killed Bryant Wilkins and Durante Caldwell. Instead, she received 2 years of house arrest and 3 years of probation.
She got a slap on the wrist. That's what she got. But you know what? God's gonna handle her. God will handle her.
The boy's mother, Lisa Wilkins, says the punishment wasn't enough and race played a factor in the case. Many in the community agree. In fact, one Bay Area church is planning a protest march.
This woman went home, went to school the next day, and her father admit to the judge that he cleaned off the car, the blood.
Porter was charged with leaving the scene of an accident, and it was days before she turned herself into police. Some residents and church leaders are calling a probation sentence injustice.
We want to see justice prevail for everybody, not just the community. It's not a racist thing. We stand up for white people just as well as we stand up for black folks.
Jennifer Porter left the courthouse early Saturday morning without comment. But what these two men saw was that she also left without any remorse.
If she was a poor white girl with a public defender, they would have locked her up. It's about money, too. It's about the famous attorney that she had.
Now, others we spoke to say they don't feel jail time would have been a solution at all. In fact, they say they feel better knowing Jennifer Porter will have to undergo psychiatric treatment and do 500 hours of community service. In Tampa, Roxanne Avenino, Fox 13 News.
Our viewers are commenting on the issue. Bruce thinks that Lisa Wilkins should have to answer for letting her children run all over the neighborhood at that late hour. John from Sefner says that he's outraged, very annoyed, and furious that Porter was only sentenced to house arrest and not sent to jail. He calls the decision an insult to the community. Ann says that she's a mother and feels the pain of Lisa Wilkins, but she also says that people are on a witch hunt. She thinks that Jennifer received the appropriate sentence. She says that the children's mother should have kept a closer eye on them that night. And Katie from Tampa compared this case to the O.J. Simpson case. She says where money talks and criminals walk. Katie says it has nothing to do with color, but it's all about money and hiring the best attorney that money can buy. Katie thinks that Jennifer and her parents should all be in jail. Russell?
Eddie, thanks. He argued successfully for Jennifer Porter, and today attorney Barry Cohen is dealing with all of this fallout. He joins us this morning. Thanks for being here. I know you've had a long weekend, so I appreciate your time. Were you surprised at how long this thing lasted all day Friday and into early Saturday morning? It seemed to just go on and on. I was surprised to woke up Saturday morning that, you know.
No, I wasn't surprised because I knew how much testimony that we were going to offer. And I hoped that the court would listen, and he did listen. So I wasn't surprised at all that the court listened very carefully and studiously and absorbed everything that was offered by both the defense and by the state attorney's office.
Let me ask you, no prison time, 2 years house arrest, 3 years probation, 500 hours community service. A fair sentence?
Absolutely a fair sentence. Absolutely a fair sentence. And you have to have heard the evidence to appreciate why it's a fair evidence. And I understand the reaction of a lot of people in the community because they just don't know what the evidence was. They think that she was prosecuted for a vehicular homicide or something engaging in such reckless and careless conduct. But she wasn't. This was an accident. It was a very tragic, sad accident where the children had gone out on a very dark road, across the road, saw a white van coming the other way, and jumped back into Jennifer's lane. And all of a sudden, she hit him. And she went into a acute stress disorder, is what she went into. And people have a hard time understanding that, but that's a recognized mental phenomena that some people are just predisposed to when they're subjected to that kind of a shot, that kind of a trauma. We brought in some of the world's best experts, the people who know more about trauma than anybody in the world, and they testified.
Let me ask you this, because from what I know about the case, she then went home And as testimony has played out in all of this, her parents were helping her, trying to help her deal with it. The father has admitted to wiping the blood off of the car. And in the judge's, when he was entering his decision, I've got a quote here, talking to Jennifer Porter and to you all, not being punished for the conduct of those around you, which to me seemed like an indication to her family members that maybe they were in some way wrong in all of this.
Well, they certainly used poor judgment. When the father wiped the blood off of the car, it was not done with the intent to hide the blood or to conceal, to obstruct justice.
Right.
Jennifer was suicidal that night. She had made several attempts to commit suicide. She was in a fetal position. She was almost in a catatonic state. He was afraid if she saw that blood on that car, that would precipitate another attempt to commit suicide. He wiped that blood off. He wasn't charged with that. If he was trying to obstruct justice, he told the state attorney's office what he was doing. He wasn't charged with it. This was a father who had never been exposed to this kind of crises, a hard-working man at the post office who was trying to protect his daughter under the worst of circumstances. And he used bad judgment by not letting her go back to the authorities that night. But, you know, you do the best you can with you never know how one will react under these circumstances.
You've seen these stories that we've had on this morning. You've heard some of these emails. A lot of people are charging race as an issue in all of this, that Jennifer Porter was able to afford an attorney, a good one, and this is why she's managed to get this probated sentence. Racism, anything like that, as far as you can see it from your perspective?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And it's sad. And I'm hopeful that the leaders in the African American community, the real leaders, the lawyers, particularly the African American lawyers, ought to speak out and let the community know whether there was an injustice here. Not to rely on Reverend Warren to be the spokesman for the African American community. With all due respect to this gentleman, he is totally without any knowledge. He's totally. I don't want to be.
Well, no. I mean, you sit here and you say that, but I mean, you know when you say things like that, that's going to add some fuel to this fire, don't you think?
Well, you know what? The African American leaders need to become involved. They need to become involved, and they need to be heard. The real leaders, the ones who understand the justice system, the ones who need to help fix what needs fixing in the justice system as far as the African Americans go, and not permit someone like Reverend Warren to be out front as a spokesman for the African American people. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
All right. Now, okay, I'm going to stop you there, and if Reverend Warren wants to come on the show and respond to that, he's more than welcome. All right, so in the terms of Jennifer Porter, I know you guys have to go back to court today to find out specifics of it, or is it done?
No, it's done. Jennifer has to report to the community control office and then find out what the specifics are of her.
And so is it essentially done? Can she be charged with anything else in this case? I mean, if they decide to charge her in the death of these children, is that a possibility at this point?
Oh, I think it may be a possibility. I don't know. I don't think the statute's run, but I don't think that there's a chance that would happen. Mark Over's already evaluated the evidence and has rejected it. What needs to happen is that the leadership in the community, the white leadership and the African American leadership needs to focus on what the problem is of the African Americans in the justice system. The business community, the legal community, the spiritual community, and both the white and African American communities need to work together to fix this problem. There is a problem, but Jennifer Porter is not part of it.
Let me ask you a question. When I heard Ms. Wilkins get on the stand, or what some of her testimony on Friday, she seemed to change her opinion, her how she had gone into this. When the two of them talked, was there ever an apology between Jennifer Porter and Lisa Wilkins?
That was a very spiritual and beautiful meeting between those two people, and they prayed together, they cried together. There was forgiveness and there was understanding. What happened was that Kim Cease from the prosecutor's office got Lisa all riled up by suggesting that Jennifer lied to her about something which she didn't, and then she used that as a vehicle to get her to say she wanted 3 years, thinking that was going to influence this judge. But this judge is a very courageous man. He listened to the evidence, and he based the decision on the evidence, not on what he perceived the public clamor to be in the community, and sometimes that's a pretty rare quality.
Barry, thank you for coming in. Good to see you as always.
Nice to see you. Okay, thank you.
And? No, I'm sorry. We're taking a break. We'll be right back.